Alright. Wish you guys could see my hillbilly GoPro. I just taped my Sony Handycam to my bike helmet. I'm gonna call it a ProGo. Anyway, so this is a new trail. It's opened up recently. It isn't actually officially open to the public yet, but still under construction. But it's a really sweet ride, so I thought I'd give it a roll. Try to stay out of the pedestrian zone. Alright, it's November Sunday, November 23rd, 2014. Amazing job on this zone and the landscaping and stuff. You can see how they planned all this stuff out, probably from satellite photography. Just to divert the runoff. No entry. We'll have to go around. Oh, that's some soggy dirt. Oh yeah. Seriously, this trail is going to be so awesome when they're finally finished. I was here the other day and I was trying to figure out what these little cement pads are for. Probably benches. Also could be for trash cans or who knows what. Plane flying by, that's cool. Yeah, this beach over here used to be pretty much inaccessible. This is Glass Beach. What remains of it, you can see the glass down there. It's only going to be maybe 6 months before the tourists pick that completely bare like they did with the other beach, and then it'll just be a normal beach, but they'll still call it Glass Beach. What can you do? People aren't supposed to take the glass, but they do anyway because they can't read the signs or they're just clueless assholes, whatever. Anyway, just think how epic this is going to be once it's completely done. They're going to put some kind of state-of-the-art marine biology research facility over there somewhere. That should be pretty cool. Like, they made all these little side paths that I assume they're going to pave at some point. Maybe. Pretty cool. Like a little tree or shrub starts over there. Yeah, this whole area used to be owned by Georgia Pacific. Everyone just called it the mill property or whatever. And until recently it was completely inaccessible to the public. Although admittedly, I went out there several times on my own just to explore. So you'll get to see later on when I'm farther down the path how cool it is. I mean, it's kind of like they call it urban exploration, or also like ruin exploration, because of course they cut down all the good trees, so the mill basically had to shut down. But the wreckage of the institution remains, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's some a creepy, desolate landscape that just reeks of ecological butchery. You know, like all the buildings are still there, you know, in a very dilapidated state, like Chernobyl or something. It's just this huge slab of cracked pavement. It looks like somebody nuked it. And then of course there's this I think it was mainly for runoff, or probably for offloading or unloading of logs. There's this huge like riven hole in the ground. It goes all the way to the ocean. It's pretty badass. Like I said, just a really kind of eerie, surreal landscape. And now they're turning it into a tourist destination. All these little private beaches down here that hardly anyone has ever been to. I used to come out here on the 4th of July to watch the fireworks. Of course, it wasn't actually on the 4th of July, but thereabouts. They launched the fireworks off the headlands from way up there. You could get almost to the edge. It was pretty cool. There's an old dynamite to explosives shelter over there. They used to keep the explosives. Like I said, they did an amazing job on these culverts. You can already see the beginnings of the desolation over there. They used to just have tons and tons of lumber stacked out on those lots. And those big warehouses over there, those are like curing stations, whatever. They would stack all the lumber in there to dry it out, and it's pretty cool. Been in those buildings a few times. Well, that cement bulwark over there is pretty fantastic. And I wish I'd filmed this yesterday instead of today, because it was pretty much abandoned. There was nobody at all. There's just a few people in today, though. This is really cool. This is the path that you actually take on the return trip. I'm just totally impressed with the layout of this place. And this is going to look fantastic once it starts to grow back in with whatever they decide to put down. Well, there's one area that it looked like they were going to make it into some kind of wetland, which that's sort of a keystone of the ecological integrity. I don't know if it's actually going to be a wetland or not, but like a mini wetland. And this, of course, this is amazing. Like, you would not believe the amount of work that they did out here in such a short period of time. Like, this used to be all like chunks of concrete and like structures that were sort of halfway demolished, like really durable structures. So like, man, they must have really had to bring out the heavy equipment to tear that stuff down. And this is one of the key sort of little lookout points. I mean, just the view is just incredible. A little spit of land that goes right out into the Pacific. You can see everything. It's hard to believe that one day a long time ago there were probably lumber schooners out here as far as the eye could see. I can see they've got another little path that they're starting over here, so they're probably gonna put an additional lookout over there, which seems like a great idea to me. It's really interesting. I'm almost to the end of the path now, but this is just half the path. Like, all that land over there, that is also mill land that's going to be developed similar to this, but it's currently inaccessible unless I really wanted to live dangerously. Right now, this, like I said, it's not open to the public, but people can still kind of wander out here. They're not gonna get arrested or anything yet, mainly because they just can't stop all the curious people, which I think is interesting and cool. But up ahead, it's still heavily developed with the last remnants of the lumber mill infrastructure, so pretty much inaccessible unless you want to risk running into a security guard or whatever. Although from my experience, I've never been out here on the weekend and run into anybody, even when this place was in full swing and they had security guards walking 24/7. Just take a look out over there on those big rocks. See those like boxes at the top? Those are giant old growth beams. They used to support some kind of lumber related structure. It was just incredible. Like, it's surreal to me to see the size of those beams and to think that those were just like pretty much run of the mill, to make a horrible pun. You know, and like trees like that, if they're not super protected nowadays in the United States, they're pretty much untouchable. They don't even exist anymore. It's like an entire culture of trees was eradicated by the human cataclysm. As you can see down there, that's where the big chasm is, the waterfall and so forth. Controlled runoff. Yeah, I'd really like to go over there, but this is pretty much the end of the road. Like I said, I'm not quite as adventurous as I was in my youth. Maybe I'll just go a little ways. Just a little ways. That's how it always starts, you know? Just a little ways. I'm pretty conspicuous, so I definitely need to go easy and get ready for a rapid escape. It's just crazy that like all of this land is just completely inaccessible to people until recently. It's bizarre. Like, you just have no idea what you give up. Like, God, that is awesome. Look at, they have the remnants of those pilings over there. They must have had a major pier. Who knows what that was for. There's all sorts of remnants around here. See, that's kind of what that other area used to be like before they cleared it off. Just piles of chunks of concrete like that. Just kind of an uncommon sight. Oh, this is a beautiful little area here. God, this has changed so much. I can still remember when I came out here the very first time. This place was just like so desolate. It was hard to even describe. It just looked like pure death. Oh, there's some old growth beams over there that they chopped up. I'm gonna get a quick shot of those on the way back. Alright, so this is kind of the real danger zone. I'm definitely going to turn around, but this is a pretty cool little spot here. Who knows what the hell they're going to develop this into. It's like there might be like a well or something over there, something you could fall down. Yeah, these old growth beams. And just look at the density of that wood. And that's like low grade old growth. That's just like the shit they had laying around that they decided would make a good like retaining wall. It's like the scrap basically. I mean, they cut down trees that were like so big. It would take like 10 guys holding hands to even go around half the tree. Like you can't get wood like that anymore. The only place it exists is in like rainforests, and of course there's no redwood in the rainforest, so you can't even get redwood like that. Like that wood would last for, you know, hundreds of years before it would rot after they cut it down, compared to the modern redwood, which is so weak that it's not even like legal to construct with it anymore. But like, I mean, like actual load-bearing structures, you can make fences and everything, but anyway, nowadays like redwood's so weak, you just like stand on a 2x4, it'll snap in half sometimes, because the grain's so loose. Like old growth, you could easily walk across the 2x4 of redwood. Old growth, even like a 200-pound man, it wouldn't break. It would bow, but it wouldn't break. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are for benches, because you can tell just, whoa, quicksand. This is a phenomenal view right here. Alright, return trip, gonna take a slightly different route. Actually have to use my brakes here. This is a pretty good time of day to film. I think a little bit later, like yesterday, when I was out here, would have been a little bit better. Good enough. Yeah, I'm gonna do another video when we finish this place. That'll be cool. Compare and contrast. God, I imagine it's going to be completely different. I mean, I don't know what they're going to plant here. Maybe they're just going to seed it with domestic plants. I'm sure they have top of the line ecologists working here to plant the right things, because they had this big disaster many years ago where they tried to replant the headlands here because of the erosion and just human activities were basically destroying the ecology, and it was causing accelerated erosion. So they had a team come and plant every single one of the plants they planted died. None of them were acclimated to the saltwater climate. Like, all the native species were the only ones that could survive in this incredibly narrow band. It's a very harsh climate with the salty sea air constantly buffeting the earth. So they just ended up wasting, like, I don't know, several $100,000. And there were like these little flags everywhere in the barren ground for like 3 years until they finally realized that nothing was actually growing and they pulled them up. I don't know what they did after that. I think, I remember what they did. They staked off the headlands completely so that nobody at all could go there. It was completely, completely blocked off. And then slowly the indigenous species started to make a comeback. Took 4 or 5 years. But they're doing pretty good now, and they still have kind of simple barriers blocking access to the sort of what you call endangered areas, I guess. But there's like a lesson, if ever there was one, It's like a lesson that humanity should really take to heart. Like, you don't need to go in there and try to fix things. All you need to do is block them off and let nature do all the work. Sure, it may take 10 times longer, but it's going to be 10 times stronger. And if you're doing it the human way, you run the risk of just wasting all your time and energy and not getting what you want. Nature, on the other hand, equilibrium is like nature's, master level skill. It's always gonna manage to bounce back as long as they're the seeds of life. But, it's a new paradigm. Everything I just said, there's a little proviso. Things have changed. Ecosystems are a lot more comprehensible now, thanks to people doing quality research and actually taking the time to figure things out and studying nature, as opposed to just saying I know exactly what to do here, and going in and trying to fix things and not fixing things. Nowadays, people actually know what they're doing a lot of the times, and they can greatly enhance and aid and accelerate ecological restoration. And I think this may be a great example of that. All the grading and prepping they've done here. Maybe this is already seeded. I'm sure they actually talked to somebody who knew what grows here. Someone who actually understands the incredibly selective and delicate ecosystem we have here. So, in a couple years, maybe this place will be thriving with indigenous plants. We'll see. I'm still kind of reserved. I'm always gonna bet on nature before I bet on mankind. Yeah, so this is kind of boring on the way back. It's pretty much the same exact trail. Yeah, by the way, in case you guys were curious, yeah, this is my bike with the Ameritire tires. You said you wanted a demo of a long ride. Well, there they are. That's what I've been rolling on this whole time. Still kicking ass. I think I'm pretty much going to end the video here, maybe go down to the beach for a minute or two. So I hope you found this informative and entertaining and all that. Thanks for watching.